Last few cars into position then. Red lights are turned on now. And they go out and away they go. Even start from the 2 on the front. A good start from someone a little bit further back as they all stream up towards Rich's Corner for the first time then. Let's hope that they can all get through safely. A variety of cars of different speeds and modifications as they turn their way through. The right-hander Rich's for the first one. It does look like it's Paul Cook, though, that's got the advantage over Michael Pensaval in second place. Then the third place car is the 48 car, so that was the one that was starting well from a bit further back on the grid. Stephen Scotton-Woody up into third position.
Remarkable start in 8th to 3rd, and he made a lot of those places up pretty rapidly. Out over the curbs there, one of our championship contenders, Stephen Streichart, in the M2 class car in his compact. As the field flow their way through Palmer. Rick Kerry, he doesn't enjoy these conditions in the V8 engine car, he said, prior to the weekend, so he's not as high up as he would like. Change for second there, and that, of course, is the M1 class lead. So Stephen Scott-Dudwoody, in his debut in the championship, he's not hanging about, is he? More often we see him out in the Classic Sports Car Club, and he's there up into second position.
Spin for number 31, Paul Laramie, towards the back, so he's going to be right at the back now. That's on the exit of Palmer's, as at Oggies. It's Paul Cook in the lead of the race then, with Stephen Scott-Dunwoody, number 48, behind him. Michael Pensaval third, Niall Bradley in fourth, looks like Hugh Gurney in fifth.
OK, and Scott Dunwoody, now he's got second, he's going after Paul Cook. He's not hanging about after perhaps not the greatest of qualifying sessions. Adrian Williams has now gone for a spin. He started 13th in his M2 E46 M3. There's Wayne Lewis. He's still missing his rear bumper after that incident in Road Sports yesterday, so obviously he hasn't been able to find a replacement, so may have had to put a little bit of ballast in to bring the car up to the weight it should be. There's yesterday's winner from Road Sport, Hugh Gurney. He goes ahead of Niall Bradley. So that is Gurney getting, fourth position away from Bradley. The Road Sports winner from yesterday gets sideways on the exit of the corner, but that's okay. He's now ahead of Bradley.
So lap 1 of this 20-minute race for the BMW Car Club Racing Championship. We'll try and keep an eye on what's going on in all of the classes as well. Paul Cook here, though, being caught by Stephen Scott-Dunwoody in the number 48 car. The first time, I think, we've seen him out in the BMW Car Club Racing. He's only about 2 car lengths behind Cook, gets a good run off Murray's. He'll be into the tow as they come along the straight. It is already ahead of him, I think, as they come up to the line alongside him at any rate. They were overlapping as they crossed the line at the end of lap 1, 9/100ths of a second between them. Scott Dunwoody ahead as they turn into Rich's Corner, though.
8th to 1st in a lap. That's not a bad effort, is it? And him and Paul Cook are a couple of seconds ahead of anybody else. Michael Pensaval, then there's another 2-second gap back to Hugh Gurney. Noel Bradley 5th. Jason West, he's one that's been losing places. He's down to 6th. Mike Eustace is up to 7th. That's been a good start, I think, from him. So Mike Eustace up to 7th. Mike Cutt is in 8th. Kaz Singh is 9th and Jazz Sapp for 10th. Graham Crowhurst, he's lost a number of positions. He's 3rd in the championship, but he's down in 15th. So he's really struggled, hasn't he, on the opening lap?
Certainly has. So there is the car of Bradley, 5th at the end of lap 1, chasing after Hugh Gurney, yesterday's Road Sports winner, as they turn their way through the left-hander at Agostini, the hairpin. Jason West, it is just behind Bradley in the number 18 car. Mike Eustace, Mike Cutt, 7th and 8th, a little bit further back.
So Paul Cook in the M2 class car in 2nd place. The next to them is Wayne Lewis, who's 11th. So within his class, Paul Cook was 15 seconds ahead of anybody else after one lap.
Yeah, just saw a glimpse of Wayne Lewis in the background there, didn't we? There is the Hugh Gurney car then, still with Niall Bradley right behind him. So this is the battle for 4th and 5th position, just coming through Williams onto the sunlit Bentley Straight now. As the blue skies, well, not quite blue skies overhead, but at least the sun trying to break through. There, though, is Stephen Scott-Dunwoody, our race leader. 2nd place, Paul Cook. 3rd place, Michael Pensaval. I think that Pensaval catching Cook on this lap by the looks of it. Then you've got Gurney, Bradley, and then Jason West going through. That's the 77 car. A little bit further back, that's Paul Travers, who's had some support on the Twitter comments. So good luck to him. I thought that moment was never going to end. It's still not, because that is the 37 car that's now recovered from being on the grass. That's Kevin Granger.
Yes, he had a right old tank slapper, didn't he, coming out of Williams, trying to put the power down. Yeah, there's one of the E30s here today, isn't there, in the pack there? That's David Nunes in the 325i. 67, that's Adrian Williams amongst them too. That's a bit further back than he would like in his M2 class car. He's amongst a lot of the Class 6 machines. You've also got in there car number 60. That's a Cup Class car of Cole McMillan, and he is the Cup Class leader ahead of Clive Watson. But the race leaders have been across the line, and Stephen Scott Dunwoody is some 3 seconds ahead now. Best lap 2 minutes 25. We're slower than we were in qualifying at the moment.
Yeah, but I think the conditions will improve as this race goes on. There's the 18 car of Jason West then in 6th position at the moment. And Eustace just behind him. Turning their way through Palmer now. The cars in this race a bit close to the apex that we've seen in some of the earlier races, so whether that's an indication of a different driving style or the changing conditions, not quite sure.
It could be now, couldn't it? And of course, these much more powerful cars than we saw, and heavier cars than we've seen in previous races. Big look up there from Noel Brad. You can see visibly from the Alpha Live streaming pictures there that the front left wheel and tyre was not moving. Well, obviously the car was, so locked up. It's very busy here once again, including that E30 with the DTM style number on the side there from Period. Novice Cross as well for David Nunes, so good to see him out there with us today. And he is in 20th position of the 32 cars. Yeah, he is, and it's nice to see the E30. Shame that Dan Harborough not taking part here this weekend. He went really well at Alton Park, which is the last time I saw these cars. I know they've been to Castle Combe since then. The 60 car, though, going through, and that is Cole McMillan. Oh, and a moment for Cavan Granger because he got hit
again, because he got hit. And that's allowed the 154 car to make hay again. Yeah,
he's got ahead of both of them. But we saw that late braking move from the 60 machine of McMillan, but then he got into Granger. He backed out of it, so the incident wasn't worse, but Granger had to save that big slide. And we to sideways again, this time with no help, and that may allow the Cup Class leader, Cole McMillan, to go through. He's on the inside line into Williams, and he slots ahead, doesn't he? So he gains a position. But I think these cars will be lapped before the end, so the M-powered cars are going to have some lap traffic to do, aren't they, in the second half, which is going to get pretty busy, especially if they're still battling like this.
Yeah, I definitely think traffic will come into play. Still got 12.5 minutes of the race left to go. Still Stephen Scott Dunwoody leading. He leads by 4.7 seconds over the rest. Paul Cook second, Michael Pensaval in third. Wipers going, I'm not sure they're necessary just at the moment, but they could have been flicked on accidentally, I suppose. There's the Cavan Granger car that's had a few dramas there during the course of this race, the number 37.
The car with wipers on, I reckon, was Jazz Zapra, who dropped right to the back of the pack, so he's obviously had an off and he's been working his way through the field. Pretty experienced BMW driver, isn't he? He races a lot in that car, but somebody had a problem and now he's having to work his way back through the order.
Not unfamiliar, had to do a similar kind of thing at Mallory Park last weekend as well, so we're well used to this kind of thing.
Bit more room around here, you'd
think. Absolutely.
Here's Jason West, who's now ahead of Niall Bradley in 5th position. So Bradley's been losing a few places, hasn't he?
And with Hugh Gurney as well.
So battle for 4th. Jason West appears to be the one moving through the pack a bit. On the previous lap, he was 8 tenths quicker than Hugh Gurney. And to go with Ian's expectations, everybody is setting their best laps of the race.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, because the sun beating down now as Gurney under pressure here from Jason West. West unable to make it through. Bradley and Mike Eustace there, not too far behind. So you've got really 4 cars disputing the position here. Come onto the back straight. And it is still Gurney in 4th position. He's quite a long way ahead of the top 3, Scott Dunwoody, Cook and Pensaval. Here's Adrian Williams. He had a moment early on in the number 67 car. He's running in 19th position at the moment, just behind number 19, Rob Lyons. I think he's actually made a place up to 18th on this lap already, ahead of the 77 car. Paul Travers. Oh dear, the E30's got problems. It looks like it's hit something, I'm afraid. Yeah, well, there's the bonnet.
In the middle of the road.
In the middle of the road. Now, how that came to be, we're not quite sure. but it looks like the E30 of David Newton's out of the race.
There it is, and a bit more debris down there too.
Not in a great place on the circuit either.
There's Bill Reddrop, who didn't take part in qualifying, but has got out there for the race, which is good. There's Kevin Denwood. He leads Class 6. Yes, he does, and by a long way. 13 seconds ahead of Stuart Pywell, who's second, and Rob Lyons in third. So he's had some new names to the podium within Class 6 today. There is Pywell in that 76.125, so the 1 Series car. And there is Adrian Williams, who continues to make progress after perhaps some issues earlier in his M2 class car. So he's ahead of 3:30 now of Rob Lyons. Rick Kerry in 9th place has just done the fastest lap of the race. Where did that come from? He's half a minute behind the leader, but he's just done a 2 minutes 23.0, which is significantly faster than those ahead of him.
Yeah, he started 11th, didn't he, the former British Touring Car Championship driver. There he is, actually, in the 1 Series. And there's David Newton's just concerned about his bonnet, I think. Almost wish he could nip over and retrieve it, but I don't think that'd be advisable. But yeah, Rick Kerry, they're up to 9th now, and power to add as well if he continues at that pace, because he's lapping 4 seconds a lap faster than each of the 4 cars ahead of him.
Absolutely. So not sure where that pace was in the earlier laps, but now he's worked out where the grip is in the V8 powered car, the 4-litre 1 Series BMW. Great to see that car out again, because it had issues. It had an incident, didn't it, at Brands Hatch, and we haven't really seen it since. I contacted the pit wall there. Here's the battle for 5th. Hugh Gurney v Noel Bradley. They're both losing out quite significantly to Jason West. Now, this all could be set up and tyre choice, couldn't it? Well, now the track's drying. Mike Cutt, he's going to lose out to Rick Kerry. We've seen these two battle for race wins in the past. They're battling for 8th and 9th at the moment. And Rick Kerry's gone through in that 1 Series we've been mentioning. Great to see that against all the M3s, Ian.
Definitely, it's nice to have that variety of body shape as well, isn't it? But the M3s really, and unsurprisingly, do tend to dominate.
It's such a famous car, isn't it?
Yeah.
The M3. It's won so many touring car races or that shape of car in either Britain or in Europe. There's just Sapra just ahead of Paul Travers. How far has Sapra got up now? He's into the top 20.
Yeah.
And lapping in a pace that would get him just outside the top 10. The bonnet has moved.
Well, it has, and David Newton is not very happy with that. He should really be behind the barrier. He's I'm not sure what he's expecting anyone to do about it, though, is the question. 7 3/4 minutes left to go, so we are getting towards the final third of this race now.
That's Clive Watson. He's second in the Cup class. New fastest lap now has come from Michael Pensaval, a 2:22.14. Every lap, everyone is going quicker as the track conditions improve. Pensaval now just a second behind Paul Cook, who in turn is 5 seconds behind the leader, Stephen Scott Dunwoody. Here's another shape of car. This is the Z3. That is Matthew Smith, car number 72. And he is in 26th, so going better than... He really struggled at Brands, didn't he, at the beginning of the season when it was really wet. But good to see Matt Smith out in the Z3 and have a more enjoyable day, you'd think.
Yeah. Kevin Denwood leading Class 6, by the way, in 13th position overall, car number 7. The next car within that class is Stuart Pywell, and he is about 17 seconds behind him, I think. So Kevin Denwood with a fairly comfortable Class 6 lead.
Safety cars going out onto the circuit, I think.
And that may be because of that bonnet in the circuit. But yeah, we've got the safety car boards now being shown on the start line. Now, we've only got 7 minutes or less than 7 minutes left to go in this race.
It should only take a lap if it is for the bonnet, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
But it does mean not long will be left. What it will mean is all these gaps will disappear, and Stephen Scott Dunwoody's pace isn't as quick as those behind.
No. Michael Pensaval, the 2:22.14, the best lap of the race on that last lap then. Rick Kerry, what did he do? 2:22.70, so still lapping about 3 seconds faster than the cars ahead of him. So if the gaps do come down and he gets a lap, probably that's what it would be to go for it.
The problem here may be actually finding the leader, mightn't it? Because I don't think that's where the safety car appeared.
Yeah, and the pack's well spread out around the circuit, isn't it?
That's what may take the time up. Which is a real shame, because it's much better to have a full clean race, isn't it? And it was perhaps not as tight as perhaps we saw at Castle Combe in the dry, but it was really interesting to see as the track dried who had the pace at different parts of the race, and the likes of Rick Kerry going much quicker than those in front, and Stephen Scott Dunwoody, who was so good at the start of the race, not quite having the pace of those behind then as the track starts to dry up.
So the car that's been picked up is, trying to work out who that is. Is that the 35 car of Colin Whitmore, I think, in 15th position?
Right in the middle of the pack. That's not the car you want to be picked up.
Marshall now heading out to collect the bonnet, just disappearing behind the timing tower, I think. There we are.
So the equal and even first. Doesn't look. Oh no, it's not a good shape.
It's been remodelled, but with the help of some of his fellow competitors, I'm afraid. But it is now at least off the circuit, and if that's all that we were looking for, and I've not seen any evidence of anything else needing attention, then we ought to be able to, in theory, get underway fairly soon. But the problem is we've got the 15th place car behind the leader.
And the leaders are only coming across the line now, so the safety car's half a lap ahead of the leader, who has backed off himself, but he doesn't know where the safety car is.
Well, and on such a long lap, it's hard to tell. He'll probably get up to Wilson hairpin, won't he, and spot it heading down the Bentley straight half a lap ahead of him.
So I wonder if we just bring the safety car in and not bother trying to find the leader, because otherwise we're not going to
get any more racing in, no. Because there's only 4 minutes left to go, and a safety car lap is going to take well over 3 minutes, probably 4 minutes round here.
Right, safety car, he's going to try and get these cars to go, which are now going past the safety car. But I expect we're not going to wait for them to catch up, are we? Because otherwise we're just not going to get a race in, and nobody wants that.
So you're almost going to have two trains of cars here, aren't you? Sort of one from 15th backwards, headed by Colin Whitmore, and the leading group as well.
So we didn't really get into lap traffic in the end, I don't think, did we? Because of that safety car. We're about to get into the lap traffic, but then that didn't happen. So we'll have to wait till race 2, which will come up this afternoon.
Now we've let some of the cars through, but not all of them. Because that's now Cavan Granger that's behind, who's 24th.
And of course the other issue for safety car drivers here is in the past you'd have a spotter with you, wouldn't you? But because of social distancing, that's just not possible, and that makes life tough. Well, so the pack haven't actually caught the safety car, have they? So if we do get the race back going, it's going to be very confusing.
It's very confusing already. So there is our race leader, Stephen Scott Dunwoody, number 48, and he's still got quite a good lead.
There is a one-lapped car in there.
There is the one-lap car in there, which is obviously Paul Laramie, which Paul Cook can't overtake, which doesn't help things. So this is going to play into the hands of Stephen Scott Dunwoody, certainly, if this race gets back underway, because Paul Cook's going to be stuck behind the back marker.
I'm starting to think that's quite a large if at the moment.
Safety car is not going to...
Well, there's no cars with it.
...come in. It's got no cars, and we've only got 2.5 minutes of the race left to go. So I rather think that the race is going to finish in this order.
It's got to, hasn't it? Because even with because safety car's gone past the pit lane, and we haven't got more than a lap time left on the clock. So that is how the race will finish.
But it's going to take quite a long while to get to that point where it does finish, I think. Because Stephen Scott Dunwoody is now going on to his final lap of the race. It is behind the safety car. And that illustrates the point, because Paul Laramie really should be keeping a lot closer to the back of Stephen Scott Dunwoody than he was there.
Well, equally, should Stephen Scott Dunwoody not have been closer to the back of the pack before that? Because he was a long way away from that markers, which I don't think he should have been. Look, even the previous lap was sort of over 3 minutes, wasn't it? So he was not keeping up with those in front. Perhaps he was trying to give them that gap, but it hasn't really worked out for anybody there, has it?
No, it's not. And the end result is we're not going to get any more racing laps out of this, unfortunately. There is another race later on today for the BMW Car Club Racing Championship. It's third season of racing with the 750 Motor Club.
So for the championship, this is advantage Kevin Denwood, isn't it? Because he's going to win Class 6. Second in the championship, Stephen Schweikart is fourth in Class M2. Graham Crowhurst, third in the championship, is second in M2, and Paul Cook is the championship. He's leading the race in M2, who's fourth in the championship. And they're really the main four contenders, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah.
Advantage Kevin Denwood, and without Jim Benson particularly to race against, you wouldn't put it past Denwood again winning later.
No, absolutely right. He'll be a strong favourite. The next group of cars has gone through, trying to catch the...
Colin Whitmore's just done his personal best lap of the race, trying to do so. So he has been pushing on, hasn't he? Very much so.
To catch the pack, which is what he should be doing, really, to make the crocodile.
But perhaps in normal circumstances, they wouldn't quite like you to do a personal best lap of the race.
Maybe not.
But we do know the whole track is actually clear, isn't it? Because it was just
the track is clear, and also it's getting drier and drier every lap, isn't it? So
yeah,
it's not entirely unreasonable.
But it's not like sometimes, obviously, where a safety car is out, you've got marshals on the side of the circuit, where it hasn't been the case this time. Because it was really cleared in sort of 30 seconds, wasn't it?
It was.
And that was the idea, a few years ago, to bring in that Code 60 regulation, but without radios in cars. That's just something that isn't.
The problem with Code
safely.
60 as well is it doesn't create the gap in the traffic, which is what you need to do.
But everybody's going 60 kilometres per hour, so it's plenty safe enough to get a marshal out on track.
Well, in theory.
But it works in international racing where there's radios. It works fine. But in club racing,
not so much.
Well, I remember the one race I saw it in, which was a Caterham race, which probably really isn't the ideal race to have a Code 60. And there was an accident when it started because the drivers just don't know it's coming, particularly if you're behind somebody. So it works when you've got radios and communication, but it just doesn't work in club racing. So that idea was quickly scrapped.
Some clubs stuck with it longer than others, didn't they? But we've counted down to 0, and we've now got a board about to be shown.
They're going to give them one lap.
I was wondering if they're going to give them a lap.
Because again, like I was saying earlier, we have got the timetable.
Checkered flag is being made ready. Okay, flag's being made ready. So I think we can stop speculating on that one.
Well, it's going to look good on the result sheets, these gaps, isn't it?
It will do.
Some might say an American-style finish.
And you've got the back marker in there, of course, Paul Laramie. But so it's going to be Stephen Scott and Woody then, who's going to come up to the line. And really, the last third of this race has been spent at a reduced speed. So checkered flag, winner's the safety car, in actual fact. But Stephen Scott and Woody takes the win, wins the first race of the day for the BMW Car Club Racing Championship, with the backing this weekend from Ipswich Accident Repair Centre. Paul Cook takes second place, Michael Pensaval third, Jason West fourth, Niall Bradley fifth, Hugh Gurney in sixth, Mike Eustace seventh, Rick Kerry eighth, Mike Hutt ninth, Graham Crowhurst 10th. The top 10 covered by only 9.4 seconds, Josh.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Then Cass Singh 11th, Wayne Lewis 12th, Stephen Schweikart 13th, Kevin Denwood 14th, Colin Whitmore caught the pack in the end, 15th, Adrian Williams 16th, Jazz Safra 17th, Stuart Pywell 18th, and then Rob Lyons and Paul Travers running out of the top 20. With class winners though, Josh?
So in Class M1, that was the winner, Stephen Scott Dunwoody. M2 was Paul Cook. Class 6 was Kevin Denwood. And the Cup class, that still was Cole McMillan. A lot of those drivers who were trying to catch the pack all doing personal best laps as well, which is interesting. But Stephen Scott Dunwoody, that's a good debut with the 750 Motor Club for him, isn't it? A race win, and from 8th on the grid. What a first lap that was. So it'd be good to hear from him with Matt Suckling shortly about how he did that. It was all about lap 1 of the race for him, passing 7 cars. And a lot of that actually was done off the line, wasn't it? We saw that out the window, him sort of going 3 and 4 wide with other cars as he really got the power down well.
Yeah, absolutely. All of it, well, more than half of the overtaking was done within the first corner or so, wasn't it? It was a really good performance. And you do wonder if possibly has an issue in qualifying or something, or maybe it was just the car was better set up for the race. So you can see the cars peeling off just on the exit of Palmer, the right-hand turn there after the left-hand corner into this new entrance to Parc Fermé that they've created at Snetterton this year for use on the 300 circuit, which does help to speed things up a little bit in terms of clearing the circuit. I can see that Stephen Scott and Woody's car has been waved into the interview zone where Matt Suckling is going to be ready to talk to him in just a few moments' time. A reminder that we've got another race to come in just a moment. That is the Zamp Helmet Sports 1000 Championship, the season finale for those cars. And then a little bit later on today, we've got the 2-hour race for the Tagiwa Club Enduro Championship. That's due to start at around about 1:45. And then we've got the BMW Car Club Racing Championship, their second race, and the Swallow Hill Homes F1000s to round out the day.
The second race is going to be really intriguing because, assuming it dries out fully, we've got 2 really quick drivers in Rick Kerry and Mike Hutt, who will be starting 8th and 9th on the grid. And you've got the partial reverse grid. It's not normally about 4 or 5 cars, normally, isn't it, which get reversed. And really, if you look at those top 10 drivers, they're all really quick guys. And if the track's dry, that should be a lot of fun.
OK, let's head down to Matt Suckling, and he's going to speak to Stephen Scott Dunwoody.
Yep, down here with our race winner from that BMW race, which is Stephen Scott Dunwoody. Stephen, that was a baptism of fire, being chucked out there in these conditions, but that must have been fun.
I really enjoyed it. We had a problem in qualifying where we had a gearbox oil leak, which we had to stop qualifying early, which put us 8th on the grid. Jack and John did a marvellous job of changing the gearbox for us and got us back out for the race. We got a brilliant start, and the rest is history, really. We had an easy job at the front end.
You're probably a little bit upset to see the safety car. If it would have gone back to green, it would have been a tough fight between you and Paul.
Yeah, it'd been good. I think there's a dry line appearing now, so it'd have been very close at the end. So look forward to race 2.
Yeah, hopefully race 2 will be dry and then you will have a bit more fun. But these cars on their own are a handful, but in the wet even more so.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I did a lot of rallying when I was younger, so I enjoy these conditions and sideways and sliding about. But yeah, they are testing, but brilliant car.
And are you enjoying the BMW Car Club?
It's my first ever race with them today. So yeah, absolutely brilliant club.
And the win.
Can't get better than that, thank you.
Brilliant stuff. Good luck race 2.
Cheers, bye-bye.
There we go. Stephen Scott Dunwoody then, our race winner for the first of the BMW Car Club races here at Snetterton. Race 2 to look forward to a little bit later on, but for now let's head back to the track and more great racing.